What's up, Chi Nation? Reg just put Jake through pure hell in episode 2 with that Russian roulette game and completely humiliated him in front of everybody. Now the promo for season 8 episode 3 is out, and it looks like Jake is done taking L's. Is blood about to spill? If you're locked in on the Chi, smash that like button right now and let's break down everything the promo is teasing for episode 3, Beneath the Icy Veil. Welcome back to the channel where we break down the Chi every single week. Today we're going full deep dive on the official promo for season 8 episode 3. We're covering full recap of what Reg did to Jake in episode 2. Scene by scene promo breakdown. Predictions on how Jake gets revenge. What this means for the rest of season 8. Other major storylines heating up. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you never miss a breakdown. Let's rewind real quick. In episode 2, White Russian, Jake finally stepped to Reg at Victor's house. He tried to put his foot down, and Reg turned it into a nightmare. He pulled out that gun, spun the cylinder, and forced a game of Russian roulette right in Jake's face. Click after click, pure psychological torture. Reg walked away with the house, left Jake looking weak, and then had the nerve to show up at Jake's party later like nothing happened. Jake tried to get him thrown out, but we all know Reg doesn't take disrespect lightly. That whole sequence showed us Jake is still mentally trapped by his older brother, but something in him finally snapped at the end of the episode. Now let's get into the actual episode 3 promo. The first thing we see is Jake is moving differently. He's no longer scared. He looks angry, focused, and ready. The voiceover and visuals heavily suggest he's done playing little brother. We get shots of Reg still running things like he owns Chicago, but there's tension building between them. One scene shows Jake talking to someone, possibly Bakari or Papa, looking like he's plotting. Another big moment, Reg is laughing and moving recklessly as usual, but you can feel the walls closing in on him. We also see quick flashes of guns, heated arguments, and someone bleeding. The promo is clearly telling us the Jake vs. Reg war is escalating fast. Here's what I think is about to go down in episode 3, Jake's revenge arc begins. After that humiliation, Jake is done asking for permission. He might try to set Reg up or get help from Nuck's side to take him out. Reg doubles down. Reg isn't the type to let Jake think he can win. Expect him to push Jake even harder, maybe threaten someone Jake cares about. Bakari's decision. The episode synopsis says Bakari considers a new opportunity from a dangerous ally. This could be him choosing between Reg and Nuck, and that choice might decide who wins the war. Emmett's family crisis. While the street stuff heats up, Emmett is reassessing his whole family future. This might be the emotional side of the episode. Something is shifting in the South Side, and this time, it's not just tension, it's war. Because what just happened between Reg and Jake didn't just cross a line, it burned the whole line down. And if you think this is just another street argument, another moment that'll fade by next episode, you're not paying attention. Because in the world of the Chi, moments like this don't disappear. They escalate. They mutate. And they come back, with consequences. Let's break it all down. It starts with Jake. Young, impulsive, still trying to figure out where he fits in all of this chaos. But Jake has been changing. You can feel it. He's no longer just the kid following orders or getting pushed around. He's starting to speak up. Starting to challenge people he used to fear. And that alone is dangerous. Because in a place like this, growth doesn't always get rewarded. Sometimes, it gets punished. And that's exactly what Reg decided to do. Now Reg is not new to this game. Reg doesn't react emotionally. He calculates. He observes. And when he moves, it's usually already too late for everyone else. So when Jake stepped out of line, whether it was disrespect, defiance, or simply refusing to stay in his place, Reg didn't argue. He didn't warn him twice. He did something worse. He humiliated him. Publicly. Deliberately. And with intention. Because humiliation isn't just punishment, it's messaging. It tells everyone watching exactly where the power sits. And more importantly, who is allowed to speak. But here's where things start to spiral. Because Jake isn't built like that anymore. The old Jake would have swallowed it. Walked away. Let it burn inside quietly. But this Jake is different. And Reg may have miscalculated that difference. Because when you humiliate someone who's already trying to prove themselves, you don't break them. You trigger them. And that's where episode 3 starts to feel like a ticking time bomb. Because now it's not just about disrespect. It's about revenge. It's about pride. It's about survival in a system where respect is currency, and losing it publicly is basically social death. Jake isn't just embarrassed. He's cornered. And cornered people don't think long-term. They think impact. They think damage. They think payback. Now let's talk about Reg's side of this. Because Reg didn't wake up thinking, let me destroy Jake today. No. In Reg's mind, he was restoring order. He saw Jake getting too comfortable. Too loud. Too independent. And in his world, independence without permission is chaos. And chaos gets corrected. Fast. And publicly. So Reg humiliated him not just to punish him, but to reset the hierarchy. To remind everyone watching, nothing has changed. Or at least, that's what Reg believes. But power is tricky. Because you don't always get to decide how your actions land. Reg might think he's restoring control. One confrontation. One moment where emotion overrides logic. And suddenly, everything spirals. Now let's talk about what coming for blood actually means in this context. It doesn't necessarily mean literal violence right away. It means intent. It means Jake is no longer trying to avoid Reg. He's no longer trying to stay safe. He's moving toward confrontation. And once that line is crossed, there's no neutral ground left. You're either escalating, or backing down. And Jake doesn't look like he's backing down, but here's the twist that makes this storyline even more dangerous: Reg is not easily shaken. Which means if Jake pushes, Reg pushes back harder. And that creates a cycle. Action. Reaction. Escalation. Until something breaks. Or someone does. And this is where episode 3 becomes more than just a confrontation. It becomes a setup episode. A foundation layer for a much bigger conflict arc. Because nothing this intense is ever contained in a single episode. It spreads. Into relationships. Into alliances. Into other characters getting pulled into sides they didn't even choose. And if you've been watching closely, you already know what's coming. People around Jake will notice the shift. People around Reg will notice the tension. And in environments like this, silence doesn't stay silent for long. It gets interpreted. It gets distorted. It becomes fuel. So the real question isn't just, what will Jake do? Or what will Reg do next? The real question is, who gets dragged into it when it happens? Because nobody fights alone in this world. Even personal beefs become community problems. And that's what makes this promo so loaded. It's not just showing conflict, it's showing ignition. A spark moment. Jake is now at a crossroads. If he walks away, he loses status. If he retaliates, he risks everything. Reg, on the other hand, is at a different crossroads. If he ignores Jake, he loses authority. If he escalates, he risks creating a rival. Neither outcome is clean. Neither outcome is safe. And that's the core tension episode 3 is building, two characters locked in a system where respect is fragile, and pride is explosive. So when you hear, Reg just humiliated Jake, that's not the end of the sentence. That's the beginning of a chain reaction. And when you hear, now he's coming for blood, That's not just hype. That's inevitability. Because in the chi, consequences don't arrive immediately. They arrive later. After the silence. After the build-up. After everyone convinces themselves it's over. And then it hits. Harder than expected. So episode 3 isn't just about revenge. It's about the moment before revenge becomes real. The quiet shift. The emotional turning point. The point where Jake stops being reactive, and starts becoming intentional. And once that happens, there's no going back to how things were. Only forward. Into whatever comes next.